Hey friends, you're watching Lo-Fi Let's Plays with Lee Alexander. Last week, we played a classic adventure, the manor murder mystery known as The Colonel's Bequest. Now, as it's October, Halloween time, I've spontaneously decided that this month's episodes are all going to be spooky. Now we go back to 1983 with Jim Pearson's The Institute. I'm a big fan of Mr. Pearson, as seen here with his wife Robin. He's unfortunately no longer with us, because I'm a big fan of his because of his very earnest attempts to impose adult themes on early adventure games. I like to observe the contrast between his deeply sincere ambitions and the quite early age of the form in which he worked with his colleague Norm Saylor, shown here. However, I do want to warn some of the regular Lo-Fi Let's Play friends that today's episode is going to contain some of the tacky stereotypes to do with mental health and with psychiatric care facilities, and you might find some of them offensive. This is an old-school game, 1983. It's not especially graphic, and one of the things that I want to do with this episode is to provoke, or to try to provoke, critical conversation about negative tropes regarding mental health care in scary games. But still, if you are sensitive to depictions of mental health facilities, this particular episode of Lo-Fi Let's Plays might not be for you, and I'm very sorry about that. It's totally okay if you'd like to part ways here for today, and I hope we reunite in a future episode that is more comfortable for you. People receive experiences in different and very personal ways, and we need to take care of ourselves and of one another. That's not so complicated, is it? Alright, so if you're still with me, here we are in our cell here at the Institute. Again, 1983, an age of, pioneering thought about the human condition. So, you're in a stark room with an iron hospital bed. If you remember playing the Quake with me, or The Curse of Crowley Manor, those were by the same creators, and it has this conceit of the visible items. So if you look, for example, we want caps lock to be active. There we go. Appears to be ordinary. Look pillow. Move bed. You can't budge it. Look bed. Nothing special. Open door. A hideous creature enters. Okay, so, look, creature. A disfigured dwarf is here. We'll talk to the dwarf. He says, "Welcome to the Institute. May they show you more mercy than they've shown me." I see, okay. Let's talk to the dwarf some more. He says, "They'll tell you you're insane, but you're not. You are here for political reasons." Wow. And I know that from the 60s through the 70s and well into the early 80s, mental health was considered political, that dissent was often misdiagnosed as madness, and, freedom of love and drug use and things like that were often also diagnosed as madness. So I wonder if this game will deal with themes like that. Let's find out by talking to our dwarf friend. He says, "You could end up disfigured like me, or you may escape, but don't give up." Okay, we'll try. Thank you, the dwarf leaves. So here we are in our room. We see a bed, a pillow, some blankets, and a door. We know that you cannot open the door. You cannot budge the bed. Under the bed, we spot an old coffee mug, and now you see a mug has been shunted into our visible items menu. If you discover something by interacting with the parser and by reading the text, it's going to become available to you in this invisible items menu. So let's take the mug. Oops, I forgot. Mr. Pearson and Mr. Saylor's other ventures, or their adventure games, their Apple adventure games, did not have a parser that understood take. It only understood get. Now we have the mug. And if we examine the mug, or look mug, it's empty and lined with coffee stains. Okay, so I have to say, I got incredibly stuck in this room for a while. Nothing under the pillow. Appears to be ordinary. I didn't really think what's the way out of this room? How do we get out? How do we get that door open? What else can we do with only a mug and a bed, and the dwarf is gone? Well, how about this? If you type east, you may then move out into the hallway. So the exit to that room was actually not visible, and again, I'm complaining all the time about the shortcomings the graphics imposed upon the adventure genre. I'm so mad, I'm gonna break this mirror. A piece breaks off. There's visible item mirror, so get mirror. Okay, we now have a piece of the mirror and the mug. Okay, cool. So we don't even need the inventory menu. Look, mirror. It's broken. Got it. Okay, let's continue along. And again, this is going to have some... a closed door is east. We open the door. This is going to have some scenes that make a lot of fun of the way that things go in mental health care facilities. So, look, shelves. Funny looking bottle is here. You see a scalpel. Wow, okay. Take all. Take bottle. Oh, get bottle. Get scalpel. In most hospitals that were designed for the patient's safety, you would not be able to raid drugs cabinets or take knives or other medical equipment without supervision. So look at the bottle. It's a magic red powder. A label reads ingest. And now, if I wanted to right now, I could go on a whole Wikipedia research journey about the ways that drugs and hallucinogenic substances went hand in hand with ideas about healthcare and mental health care in the 70s and the 80s. But let's open the bottle. Okay, let's eat the powder. The powder sticks in your throat. You finally cough it up. Wow, it looks like we need some water in order to make that happen. And we do have a mug, so we've got to look at ways for... oop, something has happened. There was a little bit of static effects. Mr. Pearson and Mr. Saylor were interested in alarming the player with surprise events and physically jarring inputs and noises. Many of the games that we've played in the series that he made featured that same sort of screen of text and noise that was attempted, was an effort to unsettle you, the player. So a guard beats you for stealing. Someone I loved was in a facility where such things could take place. I'd be sad. Looks like the drugs have been taken from us, but the scalpel has not. If I know anything about psychological healthcare facilities, it's that you are allowed to hold scalpels on a regular basis. That was a joke because, normally you're not. But let's see what else the Institute has to offer us as we wander around. Let's continue south a little bit. There's another locked door. You're at the end of a blue hall. A private door is south. Let's look at the one that's west. If the door in front of us is south. Oh wow, so again you can see this is what people look like when they're suffering from problems. You're in a large ward room full of patients. Let's examine the patients. Everyone is howling in unison. Look at woman. Patients wander about moaning and crying. Talk to man. An old man talks of the gods of Babel. Talk to man. A woman stares at you and cries. Talk to woman. Everyone is howling. So we see something on the wall back there behind this man's head. He seems to have fitted his head with a cardboard box, which is a common symptom of depression. Just kidding. No, it's not. Look at wall. You spot a plaque. Peace equals death. Wow. Bro, that's really deep. Okay, let's try to patients wander about moaning and crying. What happens if we take the bold and revolutionary step of listening? A voice cries, Shafla is the word. Okay, L. Ron Hubbard or whoever these people are. Cool, okay. We return back to the hallway. We've learned that peace is death and that Shafla is the word. Let's open this door. And here we enter... Wow, I can't tell if this is glitching or if this is just how this is supposed to look. This is an awful situation with a man behind a desk. A locked door is behind you. Talk, man. He says, "Hello, I'm your counselor. How are you dealing with your insanity?" Yes, the deep, probing questions that we expect to get from psychotherapy. Fine. He says, "Good. Someday you may leave here." Then he laughs. You know what, friends? I don't advocate violence in games, particularly in cases where someone may be vulnerable to mental health issues. But, I'm going to break all the rules right now. You've been warned that this was a rule-breaking game, so I'm going to attack. And something terrible has happened. And everybody, look, we are in the prototypical or stereotypical padded cell, apparently. You are locked up in a soft padded cell. I see nothing special. Listen. There is a dripping sound. Use mug. Get water. Drop mug. Okay. So maybe the mug is going to accumulate whatever is dripping. We cut the pads and a rope was hidden in the padding using our scalpel. Look, mug. You don't have it. Okay, wait. Listen. There is a dripping sound. Okay. Hopefully, the mug is going to fill up with water, and maybe if we can get ourselves recommitted to this venue, we can retrieve the mug and find that there's water in it. Hit pads. You are released from the lockup and led back to your room. That was a timed event. I think it was 6 or 7 turns that you can spend in the padded lockup. Still carrying the scalpel, by the way. You can attack a doctor and be put into the quiet room, and nonetheless, your scalpel will not be taken from you. Interesting. I wonder what this is saying about the relationship between the genius and the state. That was the kind of thing that literature about mental health care said in the late 70s and the early 80s, that it was all just the man getting you down and trying to oppress your creativity and diagnosing you with various problems, when the problem was, in fact, that you were a dissident. That's one of the tropes around mental health care in the era that this game was made. So, even though it's not okay to portray the psychological or the psychiatric healthcare environment as inherently evil or oppressive, I think in earlier eras where they didn't know much about mental health, it was largely viewed as a hostile presence designed to normalize you. You were doing drugs and looking for freedom, and these people just wanted to normalize and depoliticize you. So we attack. We end up back in the padded room, ideally, where we can retrieve our mug. Oh, now we see water is a visible item, not mug. So it looks like our mug has filled with water. So if we get water, we now have a mug full of water. So hopefully, whatever we've collected, whatever drippings we have collected from this padded room that we've slashed and stolen a rope from, and think, talk, to whom? Talk to myself. Talk to pads. Yell. Punch. It's interesting. This is actually not a very intelligent parser, but the fact that everything I'm trying to do here in this room is deemed futile by the parser maybe helps me get into the head of someone who is trapped in this space. Fight. You are released from the lockup and led back to your room. Again, not to do with anything that I typed. So now we have a water, we have a scalpel. Let's see what happens when you break free from the system, man. Okay. Our broken mirror. Open the door and look, shelves. Look, oh, we see the bottle. So let's get the bottle. Okay. And we go into this quiet little dark closet where we're not likely to be beaten for stealing. We open the bottle and we shall eat the powder. And now that we have the water, it looks like the powder has a different effect. There's a pulsating noise, letting us know the water washes the powder down, and you pass slowly into a dream. Okay, so here we are, learning that the true treatment for our mental health issues is going to be this magic dust that we've eaten. You're in a lovely green forest full of huge willow trees. We still have our mirror, our rope, our water, our bottle, our scalpel. Look, trees. Climb tree. A strange creature kicks you back down. Now, I promised a horror game, so that is actually the scariest thing that has happened to me just now, that we cannot climb the trees because of a strange creature inexplicably kicking us down. We now arrive at this heaving and fleshly purple cliffside, a small, peaceful meadow. Look at the meadow. A sheer cliff rises to the south. Can't go that way. Maybe we can continue east. No? East. What about north? Nope. So perhaps in the future we'd be able to scale that cliff. Let's continue exploring northwest. Wow, there's no other way we can go. Could we climb the cliff? You'll fall. Use rope. Wow. You know, I'm actually a little bit stuck. Oh, what? Wow, we see a body lying here. Look, man. A corpse lies here. Okay. It's your father. Wow, we're getting very Freudian right here. Examine father. Yep, it's dear old dad. Search father. Father, why is this happening? Search body. Move father. Yep, okay, well. I don't want to learn any more about that. And as we go this way, okay, examine cliff. As you can see, I'm trying many things here. Search cliff. Wow, it's really, it's getting a little strict with us now, with the puzzles. Examine father. Look in mirror. It's very shiny. Use mirror. Wow, everybody. Let's see. Father looks like he has shoes on. A corpse lies here. Okay, try something else. So sometimes when we get stuck on adventure games, we have to think a little bit about verbs that we might have tried, or verbs that we might have used, and you know, sometimes we check our walkthroughs nicely like this, and we can do something called throw rope. The rope catches. Brilliant! So now this rope is spiraling up this violet cleft, and we can climb the rope, despite the fact that there's nothing we seem to be able to do about dear old dad, is there? You're on top of a narrow cliff. Below is a dense forest. Looks like there's a telescope there. It's blurry. Look in telescope. It's blurry. Focus telescope. That's better. Look telescope. You see a planet. It's Earth. Okay. Examine planet. Examine Earth. This is trippy. Use telescope. Look telescope. Look telescope. Look Earth. You see continents. Look continents. You see a metropolis. Wow, we're right now in the midst of this trippy mental health dream that we're having, able to zoom in on one object after another. Look, metropolis. Oops. A tall building is visible. Look, building. A billboard is on the roof. Look, billboard. Wow, this is meta, everybody. I wonder what that means. 56621. Will you write that down for me, friends? Thank you. 56621, eh? Try something else. Okay, well, looks like that's as far as we can go Where'd the telescope? A rope dangles down, a telescope is here. You can't go east, you can't go north, you can't go south, you can't go west. Wow. You see a planet, it's Earth. Well, friends, you know, we're on this incredibly trippy journey going on, and we are getting to the end of our time here, but let's check the walkthrough gently again. Okay. So, let's climb down. Apparently there's some things that we didn't do back on the ground, and we can explore the strange parameters of this jarring universe before we call an end to our day today. Talk. A willow moans. Where are you from? Okay, I'm from the Institute. Crack. Look, a tree? What has happened to that tree? A willow is cracked open, exposing a stairway down. Enter willow. Enter tree. Go tree. Go stairway. Yeah, there we go. It seems to have understood that. Takes a minute, doesn't it? Wow. Well, you know, it's kind of ironic. Wow. Here we see our doctor, and he's holding a gun to his head. Look, doctor. The counselor is here. Counselor? He says, face it, friend. This dream won't help you escape. Wow. So, this game relied on a number of destructive tropes, and the parser was very easily confused, and I struggled with it, honestly. But we've started to enter the patient's hallucination, and, you know, unfortunately, hallucinations and abusive doctors and trippy drugs are commonly abused tropes in games that attempt to explore the fear that we find when we confront our own mental health. There is a game jam going on in the month of October. It started last year and it's happening again this year. And I want everybody to know about Asylum Jam, which is a game jam that is trying to deal with themes of psychological horror without relying on destructive mental health tropes. And seems like that would be nice for people to look into this month. Honestly, I get scared when people are doing things that they aren't supposed to be doing, and that includes abusing tropes sometimes. This game makes me very uncomfortable and scares me. You know, like I was 2 years old when this game was made, and you know, I wonder a lot about Mr. Pearson and what was going through his head as he attempted to create computer adventure games that were incredibly dark and incredibly severe. And in the weeks to come, between now and Halloween, my episodes of Lo-Fi Let's Play are going to continue to explore comical or offensive attempts to become very dark and to become very severe. Whenever computer games have historically tried to be mature, we end up with things like this. I don't know what this is right here. So if you're interested in more Lo-Fi Let's Plays, tune in next week at Rock Paper Shotgun, or subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can find further episodes. Thank you so much for coming along. This game was a bit more ridiculous than anything else, but yeah, it's a piece of work, isn't it? Okay, see you next week. Thanks, friends. Have a good night.